Okay. Welcome everybody. Welcome Periscope viewers. I just want to get started here. We're a little bit late, but for good reason. So as you guys know, I'm Richard Dennison. I've been pushing this project since 2014 to get Boy Scout troops started in Jamaica. And we're at a milestone, major milestone here now, because we now have a permanent site, hopefully to develop and grow from. And I'd like to just start with, you guys know me already, so go on the table and introduce.
I am Karen Harriott. I'm the Assistant Chief Commissioner in charge of Cubs, the Scout Association of Jamaica. So I'm on the headquarters patrol and I'm on the executive.
I'm Sarah Riebeck, and I'm from Hope Sioux, and I'm the Education Supervisor here at Hope Sioux.
Okay. All right, now I'm going to just run through the agenda pretty quickly. Okay. We already started a little bit, so I want to keep on time. Okay. The first issue I have here is I guess we're doing the intro, for the commitment statements. Basically, I want to put in writing, what we as the Scouts are going to do to commit to the, helping Hope Gardens develop and grow. And I would like for Hope Gardens in return to, make a statement, offering, what, putting on paper what they're willing to offer to help the Boy Scouts in return do here. If you recall in our discussion, I'd asked for in the Gmail. Online, I'd ask you if you could prepare a list of needs for Hope Gardens.
Okay.
And I'll see where I can plug in with, what we're doing and with the international community to see if we can help, raise with funding or any other type of support to help Hope Gardens. As we talked about, I grew up around Hope Gardens. I've been here since I was a little kid. I know every square inch of the park. So, okay. Now, what I'm going to ask for in this commitment statement also in a more personal level is what I call a plug-in, plug-out. Because, I live abroad. So part of the problem for me is that I can't give the full 100% commitment I'd like to give because I have, considerations overseas. So I'm going to put in my statement some layout of what I can do and what I can't do, and where I will be sort of pulling back out of the program once it's going and strong and we have good trained leaders to fill in the roles that we will be, I guess, essentially occupying now. I guess the same may be true for you in some regards with, the amount of commitment you can make, because of course you have other responsibilities in yourself, sir. So that would be the plug-in, plug-out commitment statement. Then
okay, where I'm coming from, I'm coming from the point of view of consistency in terms of meeting for the boys.
Okay.
So if we're having a weekly meeting, it has to be set.
Oh, right, that would be.
That's where I'm coming from. It needs to be set. Whether things going on here or not, it needs to be set. Yeah. Where meeting is on Saturday, 2:30 to 4.
Okay.
For example, right? And there's a set meeting place. So we need to, from the onset, to decide where is the location that's away from the things that are not being used now. So the boys know this is my home.
Right. So
meeting is at 2:30, rain or shine, meeting is at 2:30 to 4 o'clock, and it is in this location.
Sir, is that a commitment Hope Gardens can make to make available a meeting place resource that we can regularly schedule a meeting?
If we're doing it in one of the gazebos, it's not a problem.
Okay.
We can always use to move around. Even if they arrive here, we just choose a gazebo that's available.
Right.
Because remember we have parties in the evenings, we have Saturdays that we're busy, so we have to choose a space that's open. So that's for me, I would have the calendar and I could just click in, not available, space, which space.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good for me.
All right. Now, next item, future expectations list. And this I guess we could skip over. I'm going to have very stringent requirements for
what do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
That all leadership memorize the following: Scout Promise, Scout Law, Cub Scout Law, Scout Motto, History of Scouting Jamaica, the Scouting Organizational Chart, the Scouting Job Description, as particularly for each of the other members. So that if a parent comes and says, well, what does this person do? Or what can I do if I become a member? You don't have to be like, let me go check. This is like a business. I want to run it like a business. We need to be sharp, we need to be prepared, we need to impress.
Okay.
And on the parent side, on the kid's side, this is a performance show.
Okay.
Right? We need to engage with them, excite them and so on. So think of that sort of bicameral approach.
All right.
And having this stuff in mind, very important. So what I do, the easy way I do this, when I do my jogging, I have it on paper, I walk, memorize, mark, and then jog. And every jog is a mantra. So it's stuck in my head. So
all right. So for the initial program, from the kids' perspective now, for the initial program cycle, you need to have 12 weeks before investiture. So if you start a troop, a Cub Scout pack now, they can be invested, they should be able to be invested in December.
Okay.
It's usually a 12-week program. And so I can offer a program as to what you do every week, so that by the time we get to investiture, they know the promise, the law, all of the story, all of the things that they're supposed to know, because they're not allowed to go for badges or any of the achievements until you have been invested.
And just to make a point of information, this is for the leadership, and I'm assuming we have to train the leaders fully before the sculptors. Okay. So this expectations. This is my expectations of who's going to be involved.
Right.
In any leadership position. The blankets.
Okay. And they have to be the lead. And so I'm now talking to the leaders now. The leaders, you have to have completed the GIC and basic A.
Yes, and I was going to lead into that. That was the next part. Additionally, 7-minute scientific exercise, which I think I didn't give you yet. But this is one of the things I ran with the scouts in the States, because what you find, especially with cubbies, they come in with a lot of energy. Very difficult to work with them if they come in tight. So what I did was I used, this is something that's printed in the New York Times, and I did this with the Cubs before every meeting. So this was sort of the first order of business, turn off that extra energy. So now you have the focus.
It is called steam off.
And simultaneously teach them a scientifically proven method for staying fit and healthy. And get the parents involved too. So essentially the entire troop was doing this. And I have videos that go along this, a kiddie video and a more adult video for the troops. That again just performance.
Right, yeah.
I have a question on that.
Yes.
The basic A, you said that.
Basic A.
Now when can we do that? Because when I spoke to him, he said it wasn't available till April.
I can speak to that. That would be the other part. Child protection training, mandatory. General information course, the GIC. Basic course, A, B, C, wood badge. And I'm adding a physical fitness review. Because I'm looking to push more than the regular, I think. You know me. So in order to encourage the kids to do the same. And we want to make sure the body's fit and healthy before it's a heart attack. So that's that part. Now the only thing I have a question of, what I wanted to do was go to, once we fill in this sheet with names and get sign off on who's going to participate in the various roles, I threw my name in as group scout leader. Okay, and the rest, everywhere you see a blank means names go there for both the Cubs and the troop. Right. So once we have the names, what I'd like to do, let's kill, 3 birds with one stone, so to speak. Right. Go to the leadership and say, okay, we have several people ready for all the training. Let's schedule boom, 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 boom. All right. Can that happen? Okay. So first of all, we need to look at the national program to see when it is. Did I bring the national program over here? Did I bring the national program? To see when is the basic A scheduled for. Okay.
I was told April was the next time we can get our training. By Mr. Gray.
Really?
Is there any way to accelerate that? This is what I'm wanting. If we can get enough people to justify a series of trainings, and this is not just us, but maybe parents, etc., who are willing to participate now. So we're not doing it for 3 people.
That's what he told me.
But is it set in stone? I mean,
it's not. No. I know. I'm just
get a body, get a room.
Yes, I'm just training. Yeah. All right. So let me tell you.
I hope they're not that rigid. Because we're trying to accomplish.
Hold on. If as a district we can find enough leaders to do an A course, we could do an A course up here. Sure. 1 weekend, it's
I
a
know the
weekend course,
details
not a day
available for
course.
this. I read through all the materials last night Mr. Gray gave me, so that's in my head.
For the A?
For what he gave me. He didn't give me
I
anything
would
on
like
the
to hear
AV or
because the people that I want to enroll from our side. So I have 3 education staff. Mr. Millwood, who's actually already been part of the Scout movement, and he was already doing all the training.
Yeah.
Then I have Ramon Perth, he's a student, UTech student.
Bear in mind, you have to be invested.
Well, he works for us, so he works on Saturdays. So he is one of our staff education. So he would be involved in, the reason we want to train them is because they can utilize this with the Hope Boys.
Yes.
Yes,
Right,
myself wants to be as a brownie and girl guy. And then we have Natalie, who's the person I work with. So that's 4 people. And I actually have someone else who is interested in doing it. She's an education guide and works with animals. She was interested. They're looking to do this as a work experience for them because it's leadership skills. So they see it as leadership skills.
Okay.
So there's 5 of us.
And then we check with Mr. Gray to see how many other people, how many other leaders in St. Andrew. And then you can have it up here. It's a weekend. It's a
We have it up
weekend
here.
training.
It would cut traveling for us, and my staff would already be here. It would be great. 'Cause
When you
I
said
know
only aim? Oh, sorry.
No. I was saying we tried to do this before. So he set up a course for us at Scout headquarters on a Friday night, Saturday, the whole thing. And then on the Friday afternoon they called and cancelled it. So we were all ready to go. Then he called back saying he can reschedule it. And he called Rebecca and scheduled it. My staff weren't available. So none of us could go because we had a party here. And we have to be here for an event. So we couldn't actually leave the zoo. So we couldn't do it. I mean, he scheduled it on the Friday. Saturday morning, I got told about it, and my staff were already busy working with the event, so they couldn't leave.
Okay.
So if we do it, would love to have it set in stone. Yes, this is the day. If it's here, my staff will be here, and I don't have to worry about it. They can just be here, and I don't have to worry about traveling or anything. I mean, we have a zoo bus, so we can get to it if we have to go somewhere, but it would be easy to do it here. We have a conference room. You can use this room for the actual speaking part. You need to do outdoor. You have the grounds for outdoor.
Right.
I'm just curious, just how many trainers off the top of your head do they have? Is this something that we could help enhance? I mean, could Hope be the place that trains people? Because that's holding back the formation of
No, you have to
What's
be,
required?
the trainers have to be, you have to have a wood badge. You have to have a wood badge, and you have to have done the trainer course to be a trainer.
All right.
So you have to go ABC, wood badge, then train the trainer, and then you're eligible to be a trainer.
Eventually, one day we will be. Because we'll be long enough.
Right. So, what was your next question?
Oh, well, that was the main.
That was the main.
Yeah, just to see, what would be required to ease the process for Jamaica of, not having to wait months
Well,
to get things. Because in the gap, things can fall apart.
Right, but that's okay. So, after you do the basic A, then you have to wait at least 6 months because you have to put what you've learned in practice. And then you can do the B. If there's not a B scheduled, then again you can organize for the training team as long as they have the time to come and do a B. Right? So, and that's...
But you can start a troop. When? Then after the training. After A, or you have to wait till B?
Alright, no, okay. So, you have to you can start a troop, but you have to have a trained person
in the troop.
As leader. So like how you're joining up with Stony Hill.
Right.
Right. Then one of their leaders have to be involved.
Okay.
And so you're assisting until your training is complete. And then I will help as much as I can because I'm from St. Andrew.
Okay.
So, I'm from St. Andrew District, so I can help as much. Because if you're camping, you have to be trained to camp. So, and of course, so I would have to be on the camping to plan the camping schedule and the program and all of that to make sure everything goes according to plan, and so forth.
All right.
So it's not a biggie, because the
There's
great
always someone that can come.
yeah, because the great thing about St. Andrews is that most of the people on the headquarters patrol are from St. Andrews. so you have the resource.
Concentrated power.
Yes, so you have the resource. That's why we're always district number 1. We're first.
You know what I was going to say? I was hearing at the meeting that you keep winning the trophies. You know, we need to pull out of it. It could have a dampening effect on the rest of the country. No, I'm serious. If you think about it. Yeah. At some level, you know, how many trophies do you want? You really want to nurture. It would be a good, gesture. Maybe gesture. You know what I'm saying? To say, all right, we have enough.
No, I'm a competitor. No. I like every leadership conference. I like to hear. And the winning district, St. Andrew.
All right.
And then Hope Zoo is going to be, Hope Royal is going to be, and the winning troop of the year, the troop of the year is.
Wow.
Anyway.
Organizational structure.
Right.
So you have the sheets. I've left blank spaces because, again, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to come today.
Yolanda. Yes.
Because he knows people. I've met people with people coming through the years from the camp we were at to now. So I'm not sure who can plug in where, and I'm assuming some of this hopefully will be parents stepping up to the plate.
That would be nice.
This is to be kept, by you guys until we can fill in these names.
Right.
And if you know anybody you can recommend to these positions, let's do that, right? So that we have a roster to pick from and we can start the process.
And Cub Scout leader is
Scout leader.
A Cub Scout leader is in Jamaica is generally a female. Yes.
Okay.
I should have put that.
And the
you
scout
see,
leader.
I did put that.
Scout leader is usually a male.
All right.
Oh, I thought it was assistant scout. See the F? Sorry, I should explain that. I didn't put a legend, but the F means female.
Okay.
Because I was following some of the instruction you gave that there has to be, especially if we want girls. I want to mandate right, that there's a female leader so we don't lose out on getting girls involved.
Right. So let's start with Cubs, because right now in Jamaica we don't have a linkers we don't have links, a linkers section.
Okay.
We have a Cub Scout, we have the Cub Scout pack and the Scout troop mainly, and we have Venture Scout and we have Rovers.
Okay.
So we don't have the baby ones, right? Okay.
But the peanut ones, that's guys, isn't it?
The little ones. We don't have them. We have the Cub Scouts. So usually we have for the Cub, the Akela is usually a female.
Okay.
Right? Not 100%, but it's usually a female because little boys still need their moms. Yes.
So it's not a hard rule. It's not a
hard rule. It's just practice.
But the hard rule is a female.
The hard rule, yes. If there's a girl in a scout troop, let's not mix it up. Okay. We don't accept girls in the Cub Scout pack.
Okay. In Cubs, right?
In Cubs, yes.
Yeah, and that's enough. Yeah, right. That's right.
Right. Okay. But in the scout troop, if you're going to have females, you have to have a female leader.
Okay.
All right. Right.
So that's why I'm mandating it, even if we didn't have females, just to future-proof.
Right.
You get my point, right?
Yeah,
so if any girls suddenly pop up, no problem. We can take you. Yeah.
Right. So that's Right. So usually the Balu, we have Balu is I'm going Cub and then Scout. So Cub Balu is usually a male. Usually, it's not a rule. But it's usually the leader who is more skilled with their hands because because that's the one to lead those activities. Yeah. So the roping, the rope work, and the skills is usually So we usually have that, and then you can mix up the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, you can mix up the rest. context.
Now, one part I wasn't clear exactly on the composition. Is the group committee leader. I think in the notes, it's a composition, a mix from my understanding of the sponsoring body,
Right.
of scout leaders in the troop, or pack, right? Of
All right, so
because
okay, so let me tell you.
how to fill that.
So let me tell you.
From your experience.
So the group committee, you need to have at least one member from the sponsoring authority, because there has to be
A liaison.
right, a liaison. So one member has to be, and usually the committee is made up of, like, friends of the group, parents of the group. It's easier to find them that way because they have a vested interest.
Yes.
My son is in it, or my niece is in it, or
Or I used to be a scout.
And I support the program. Like that.
Yeah.
Right. So you need that group, and there's no set number.
Oh, okay. I think it was 9. Is it 9 for that?
Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah,
but when I say there is no,
well,
I don't mean it's not.
Yeah.
What I mean it's not a hard and fast rule. There are some rules that are unchangeable. This is not one of them.
Okay.
So, and the function of the group committee is the support, because you as the group leader, your role is to do the programs, to carry out the programs and activities of the troop, right, or of the group. The group committee, they're the support, they're the backbone. They're the ones who do the financing. They're the ones who raise the funds. They're the ones who provide the bus if you're going on a camp somewhere, or if you're going to rally. They're the ones who organize when you're going to visit another troop, or you're taking them to visit the JDF or the museum. They're the ones who organize the bus, make sure the drinks are available, make sure the kids have snacks. All of that support, that's the role of the group committee.
Okay.
You as the leader, your function, while you can be a part of the group committee because you need to be the liaison, your role is to carry out the activities and the program of the group.
Okay.
Right? And also to make sure that everything doesn't fall on your head alone.
Okay.
Right.
Good. All right. So that's the group committee. All right.
That's
so that was I
committee.
wasn't totally clear on.
Right.
Yeah. Everything else is straight. Yeah. All right. So if you know names, and I'll send out a general word.
Okay.
And I guess maybe the DC can reach out to San Andrew to see if they know people out in the wind who are not maybe attached to anything now.
Yeah.
I'll talk to Sarah to see if she has people already.
Or people in the Mona area.
Right. And that will come in once we have the general meeting.
Right.
For everybody
Okay.
to inform them what's going on.
Right.
All right. So I think Oh, a church affiliation.
A church affiliation.
Usually, well, in the States, I know, usually we are affiliated with some religious organization to fulfill that part of the mandate.
Of the mandate. That's how it is here.
I have a tie into Providence Methodist, which is down the way. And I like that fact of the location, because I want us to be very public with the kids.
Right.
Because that is going to draw in, when they're seen in marching around and so on.
Right.
So
Yeah.
That's going to help recruitment and publicity.
Yeah.
So, because there are other churches closer to Mona, but less opportunity for visibility.
Okay.
And maybe I think Providence may have bigger resources than some of the small churches. But this again depends on the reception we get.
Right.
Do you have any ideas on that?
That sounds good for me.
I didn't know what was in practice.
Yeah, that's in practice. But you can do that, or Hope United. Hope United is next door.
Okay.
And I also would like to see them have a Cub Scout pack.
Okay.
And because they used to have, our current president was a Cub Scout at Mona Prep.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So and they have not been functioning of late. So I would like to see their Cub Scout pack pick up
okay. All right, so you have a lead in this. So let's say Hope United, if you have a connection there?
Yeah, I have a connection there. So tell you what, you do Methodist, the Providence,
yes,
and I look at Hope.
Okay.
And whoever comes up,
the better of
the two, yes, I'll work with them.
Okay. And the storage and supervision of equipment. Well, I can store some material at my, it's not big, but it's space. And that's on the camera and observation. Yeah, so to get started, I can store tents, I can store, general equipment.
Okay.
So there's room there.
All right.
Now, record keeping and publicity. The record keeping, there's a long list in the paperwork of all the various records and so on. I'd like to make as much of that electronic as possible. Paper only where we must. For backup purposes, for dissemination, for, error checking
no
and that.
problem with that.
So, okay, that's...
So who's going to donate the electronic equipment for the group?
I'm working on that. I have some equipment now,
okay.
and I'm going to look at the various apps I can incorporate. I'm thinking of using what's called FileMaker Pro, which has, it's a relational database that allows you to run it from your cell phone, from your computer.
Okay.
It's networked, it's back in, you can put in automatic backup and that kind of thing, so we don't have to be guessing at. And for example, when we had the meeting recently, here's one where, how many kids were doing this and that. Instant, you put it up in your app, immediately. Not just that, but even down to the individual kid, what they have gained, in their training, where they're how far along, so you can do the sweeping database access record, checking that you can give the kind of metrics you need to plan.
Okay.
So, you didn't miss too much.
Yeah, you didn't miss too much.
Okay.
What I just to back up, because I didn't mention identification. Your scarf, where is it? Is it up or down on your program?
Down on the program.
Okay,
that's
right.
uniforms.
Sorry, we'll continue then.
Alright, so just to give you a brief, we discussed church affiliation.
Okay.
So we're going to decide between Providence Methodist or Hope United, because their church is closer to Hope Gardens, but I want the visibility. To have the kids marching through Salmon Center, halfway, and help again, raise awareness, just for publicity, just to have it happen. Partnership with Stony Hill Tree. Okay, leadership will work with Stony Hill to gain experience with an establishment. So we discussed that. And that would be Yolanda, unfortunately, not here, but I will follow up with him on that.
Okay.
He and I basically, essentially what happened after the camp, I sought out a troop I could just see what was going on, at the local level outside of the camp. And that's how I ended up. They're actually from a race at Hope Gardens.
Yes.
Because they had the Run for Hope, I think it was.
Yes.
And on the run, I, as I was, making the bed, going around, I think about a mile out, they had the kids storing the water. And they're like, oh, Master Chief. I'm like, what the hell? Hey, what's up, guys? And hey, how are you? I was Chris, and so on. So at the end of the race.
So they remembered you from the last camp? What?
No, but this was right after the camp.
Okay.
It was soon after, maybe a month or less, right? But they had that. I think maybe that may have been the first race for Hope, if I'm not. It may have been, but this is 2014.
Okay.
But anyway, I said, fine, what's happening, with you guys and, the program and everything. So all things good, and we want you to meet this particular leader. So I said, okay, so these leaders are good and so on. So that's when I met Yolanda and some of the other guys.
Okay.
And we discussed, again, all our wishes for, permanent sites and all the enhancements and so on. So that's sort of what has led to me being here today.
Okay, cool.
So that's why I spent time with them, I've camped with them, I did astronomy program with them, so on and so forth. Moving forward. So it's a natural fit, I already know.
Right.
Yeah,
Good.
Alright. And okay, we discussed already, we jumped ahead already with the training, concurrent training for everybody. So we line everybody up and then you go to national to get, all that training together.
Before you move on, because we're coming out with some new materials, and also this is the current handbook for Cub Scout leaders, and there's one for Scout leaders, and we are now, instead of, I don't know if there is that in Boy Scout, but they have the Trail Finder, Tigers, the three, instead of bronze, silver, and gold arrow, they are now part of the Wolves. So they've named the workbooks now that each boy has. So,
that you see the site. That may be similar for the Cub levels and Scout.
For the Cub and Scout, and they have
they're in the States.
Right. So what is the the Inter-American program. And they have a container of books in Panama that we need to get to Jamaica.
I'm assuming by you saying that there's a hold up of some kind.
There's a holdup because of money.
Right.
So it's a container.
Perennial problem.
The perennial problem. So there's a container with all of the books, with the workbooks for each cub and each scout, and they're in a container in Panama, and they need to get to Jamaica.
Okay.
Because right now, I have to be sending out the programs, like the program cycle, and instead of each child having his own workbook. So I would really like if we could make a concerted effort
To get it there.
to get so all the people in Periscope land, hi,
Yes.
please help us.
Yes.
We need to get
And
a container.
these are some of the goals we want to target.
Right,
This is what I was
we
saying,
have a
Sarah, between
container.
what you give me for Hope Gardens and what we come up with for the Scouts. That is
Right.
going to be the vanguard here
Right.
for me to push to. I need to get dollars amounts to these things.
Right.
Needs and dollar amounts that I can then target.
Wish list.
Yeah.
Well,
I can focus.
part of my wish list, the container of books in Panama that need to get to Jamaica.
No, do you know who the manufacturer is? Or the publisher of the books? Because what would help a lot, and what helped a lot in the States, is having it in electronic format. Some of those I left in the Dropbox, if you guys saw it. For the, And the beauty of the books, I think, I didn't listen to it, but I mean, I don't know if you've seen, this is the official Boy Scout book. And again, color-coded chapters, and easy to follow instruction on what this does for a mother, right, who doesn't know what to do with it. Is to just basically go step by step through the book. The leaders have the counterpart book that they can work with the Scouts to make sure they've done, the Scout and everything achieved and sign off on it. And then the Scouts are on their badges and patches. It is wonderful from the cub level right through. Invaluable too. And to have it electronic means for those parents who can't afford it, and for those who can't necessarily reach with the books and stuff, they can have it on their PDAs because people may not have the money for book. People seem to find money for good phones. So they're not. They don't need to be out of the loop. They can have the materials on hand to at least work with the boys on it.
But the boys need to have their own workbooks.
No, I understand. No, my suggestion is that in the case where we can't get that to them, they still can do something.
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's better. Oh, you know what? I should have put it in first.
You should, yes.
It's much easier.
Yes.
All right. So where were we? We're on.
Okay, so we are almost done. We're at the point where we were discussing the material, the book, and how to go forward with the parents with making it easy for them as best we can. I realize it's important for the kids to have the physical book. I don't want to keep them on their phones and they have to be. But this is just again an extreme situation where they just don't have it. We just can't reach everybody. If we can supply this, let's just do that. It's better they have it than they don't have anything. And they could even work with it prior to signing up. I mean, nothing stops them. There's no Jamaican tennis. There's no Jamaican, version of marbles maybe. Well, you get the idea. They can still use the material to work with their kids. And then once they do get around, if they ever do, to enrolling them, then great, they're already prepared. So I'm hoping if there is already a Jamaican book, as you're saying there is, and if we may have some discussion with the publisher to see if they would be so kind as to let us get the electronic, because all of this is done electronically. They just obviously don't put it out because they don't make money. But if we can convince them to maybe be a little kind, and that we will use it responsibly in that way. And guarantee them, some level of sales in exchange for, a little bit of leniency with the copyright and whatnot. Then, that would be a good thing to happen. So, all right. Now, some of the practices. I guess we can go into that in another meeting. But we've already discussed things like the safe, what is it called? I'm forgetting now. But child protection.
Oh, that's
right. And things like that. And
that just has to be done first. That is the first.
No,
child protection policy, and so what we could do is all of the people who are going to be involved. We have scheduled a session for the CDA people to come in and make a presentation. So, right, I think that is the best way to move forward, because every person who has anything to do with any child has to have gone through that training or that session, and it will be documented that they have.
Now, is this something that has to be done face to face?
Has to be done.
Face to face.
Well,
because the USA, they have an online course that you can do online, and it basically runs you through the test, and at certain point stops. You have to answer questions.
I did that, yeah.
And so if you don't do it successfully, you don't get the certificate.
In Jamaica, they're not there yet.
Okay.
They have to have a physical person from the CDA come in and look in your face, so that they can say, I looked in your face and you did the course, and I, as the authority, am signing off that you have done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
That's easy enough to schedule.
Because it's easy, because we're having leadership conference at the end of this month, and they're coming to do presentation and to make sure that everybody.
Because you understand, the concern I did have is that if it's something where we're trying to get parents involved, and that's a tenuous thread to pull sometimes. You don't really want to have any hindrance towards. If you get somebody excited, the time in between them being excited and ready to sign up, and then waiting for this test and saying, you know what,
parents that
I can't bother again.
Yeah.
Well, that's your structure too. That's your structure. Your leaders here, they're permanent, and these your parents and that. I think if it's easy for them and it's accessible for them, and they don't have to worry about doing any training, they'll be more quick to sign up. And so we will do all the hard work, where the parents, I think, should just come in and spend time with the kids and actually get involved voluntarily.
Well, the parents are going to do this work. The way I'm selling it, it's a benefit for you too. It changed my life.
Right.
I'm not kidding. Literally added years to my life.
I know.
I mean, and I enjoyed it, and it hasn't come down ever since. And this is really, I guess the magic I want to sell is that, this is more than just, helping kids. This is really change your own life.
Your own life, because I tell you what.
Because you could fall around and not even know. And
that is true.
That's what happened to me. And what made me know this was having to do Cub Scout activities with my son. And being involved as a leader, not just a parent who brought the kid and sat on the side and played with the phone until the thing was over and I went home. Getting involved, having to run and do activities.
It's a life-changing thing. And for me too, I did not expect to be in scouting this long. Honestly. I went in there because one day my son came and my son said to me, Mom, will you be the Akela for our pack? And I said, what? He says, I told them that my mom would be the Akela. So of course, when your child says that to you now, how do you say no? So exactly, so I said, okay, sweetie, I'll be the Akela of your pack. And then I turned around and I'm like, what is an Akela? What did I just sign up for? Like, oh my God.
And that's the thing.
That's
the thing. People do not realize just how great it is.
It is. It's wonderful.
And even for people who are already scouts, because I was a scout, I loved it as a scout. But the memory fades and you move on with life and you're tired of your responsibilities and you just think, I can't find the time, or you don't really have to go expend this extra energy. But once you do get into it and you see the results and you see the benefits, man,
it's true.
It's wonderful. And what I'm hoping to do actually, there's a guy on stage. The producer, I forgot his name, but he runs the hill with me. And we've been discussing it because I'd like to see a reality TV show born out of this. Because one of the things I think, especially in Jamaica, is that there's a disconnect between the society at large and the lives a lot of these children live. And that was what really cemented me into the program.
Very nice.
1,000%.
That would be.
And some of the video I've already shot is good footage. It's on YouTube now. And I'm hoping to develop some kind of a structure around what we're doing. To not just see the kids here, but go home with them. With a greater sense of where they're coming from. Because I realize scouting is a filter. The kids who want to become scouts are not the kids who want to do bad things. They want order, they want structure. And I tell people all the time, as they say, game recognized game. I had the same desires as a kid. That's what had me climbing the hills back here of Hope Gardens. You know, I was just so amped up to do something.
Yeah.
And I signed myself into Scouts. That was mom or dad. That was me. Signed up at Campion.
Yeah.
And they had it. And marching up to Garden Town and to Kintyre.
And Kintyre.
And the memories of just to show that's the impact. I don't remember much else, but I
you
do
remember
those
Kintyre?
things.
You remember Kintyre, yeah.
So, you know, it'd be great. And I think Hope Gardens is, I tell people all the time, this is the perfect. I never came to Hope Gardens because I didn't even dream we'd get here. I was like, it's too good.
Yeah,
It won't
that's
happen.
true.
You know, this is like.
He was hoping for Hope Gardens a long time.
So that's how I ended up settling up more. I mean, it's there, it's useful, but you know, it just was the whole part. Because I realized you guys were working on the transition and everything, so I figured this would be too much. So, and you know, I ran into her by accident. Accident has happened. This is serendipity on God, man.
Well, you were at the meeting when we went.
Yeah,
That's how
right.
this all started.
Okay.
We went there like, we want to get it started, but we don't know how.
Right.
Yes,
And this is all these things connected. Just wow.
It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, parents, support, okay?
Yes, please,
Support,
please.
please support. Please get involved.
No, uniforms, you talked about that.
Right.
And the HRT specific emblem. So you're saying that would be now you can jump in.
So the scarf, you must have a scarf. That is your identification.
Yes.
Because you have this was my son's thing. So you have the St. Andrew flash, St. Andrew badge.
Okay, so I can
Right,
see.
okay.
Sorry. I know you can see.
Right. So the St. Andrew flash, St. Andrew badge on this side, and of course this is your level, and the world badge.
Right, you got
Goes on the right side.
Right.
Okay.
So I don't know what happened to his world
You
badge.
see it? Okay.
So the world badge is here.
Okay.
Right, and then the scarf. No, these are achievement
Patches.
that go on here. So when my boys used to have the entire sleeve.
Yes.
And so when we go to, I used to be proud of this.
Yes.
when we go to national gatherings, you know, and you see St. Peter and Paul, a pack, you know, coming, and all the boys, all my boys lined off with their patches, you know. It was usually quite cute. But so the scarf is the identification for the particular troop or pack.
Okay.
So what we have to do, you have to design a scarf, and
who's the manufacturer?
you decide who one. You can
Okay,
decide.
so they have various companies. I didn't know if there was a contracted person for that.
Not necessarily. No, I can provide resources, but no. So you design your scarf and you take it to the headquarters for them to pass it and to document it and to register your pack. This is your identification.
Okay.
So you're open to suggestions. It doesn't have to be gospel. I'm just suggesting that since it's animals and zoo, we could have a zoo print.
Okay.
We could have an animal print fabric.
Really cool.
Yeah, an animal print fabric.
Yes, of course.
Animal print fabric.
Of course, yes.
And border it either.
Because I was just thinking, you know, what would make it stand out?
Yeah.
You know, that if we put it on materials, or even just use it, because you may not be able to put out, you know, scarf, but just something even at a small scale that would immediately tie to
So once you, and nobody else in Jamaica, no other pack has an animal print.
Yeah.
So you choose
There's a couple choices. You can have zebra, which is black and white. You see the colors. You could do.
It's Marty.
You could do like a cheetah or a cheetah or leopard print, which is the spots. Then you've got paw prints. You could actually have paw prints. You know, like an animal lion prints on it.
Yeah.
Black and white or something, or brown, dark
But you know
brown.
what we could do? Let's put
Doesn't
these
matter.
up as a competition for the kids to
To
choose.
choose.
Yeah.
But they have to, because you
Is it
have to,
possible?
because the thing
Before-
is you have to have before you have your pack together.
Oh, well.
So you can't wait on
No,
that.
because we still have to get the pack together. Well,
You have to get the pack together.
Before
investiture.
Before investiture.
Before investiture.
Okay, right. So you're
Before
right. Okay.
investiture.
when they're first formal, where they're wearing everything.
Yeah.
Firstly, we have to get all these sizes and uniform sizes and all that. The
Right.
same thing. We give them the choice of 3 different scarves, and they choose. And the most votes gets the scarf.
Right. There we
Right.
go.
So if you get an animal print and then you can border it with either purple or blue and white.
Okay.
Because St. Andrew pack.
Okay.
So that everybody will know, one, it is the zoo.
Right.
Because nobody else in
Has that.
Jamaica will have that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is the
It will
zoo.
look nice for the kids for marketing as well.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. As soon as you said it,
Yes.
exploded.
Yes.
That'd
and
be
then
perfect, yeah.
Yeah, and then either the blue and white or the blue would definitely say, I'm from St. Andrew.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. So we'll develop that.
So we develop that.
Now, just a side thought here. In keeping with what you're doing with the classes and the training, I'm assuming that these patches, like in the American system, have established,
I'll put it on my desk.
they have established training materials for the parents and the leaders to sign off on and
What
guide
day-
the kids
what
to
day
achieve
is
them, right? Okay. Is there room
Saturday.
to add more? Because, I mean, with what's happening here at Hope Gardens, you know, with, yeah.
Well, oh yes, so you could add,
And
yes.
some animal badges.
Yeah.
We have a,
Yeah.
well, we have a couple. We have, you can, like the course that we have already written, road badges. So you have an animal like nurturing, which is feeding and cleaning the animals.
Right, you have a nature badge.
Yeah, it's a,
We have a nature badge.
Yeah. That is pertaining to like animal wild species. We have a zoo cycling, which is recycling plastic bottles. Then we have a couple of other badges for different things. Animal education, so learning about animal tracks, how to distinguish animal footprints. Learning about Jamaican wildlife. We have different courses depending on which one they do.
Alright,
Okay.
so what we could do is we could
Endangered animals, sorry. Endangered animals of Jamaica and endangered animals worldwide. So they learn about the endangered animals, and they also do like a fundraising activity to raise funds, and then we send that money to them. So if we're doing elephants, or we're doing rhino, or whatever, it would be a rhino horn or a footprint of an animal.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so what we could do is use the basis of the nature badge and incorporate that in the rules to make that specific badge. Yeah? Sounds like a plan.
Now, an extension on now, because my focus is STEM. And one of the things I wanted, I mean, I've been talking to the Astronomy Society of Jamaica, and I'm hoping to purchase a very fancy telescope. And you have the grounds here and the space to do on occasion, maybe not just for the scouts, but for the general public as well. Astronomy night.
You have an astronomy badge for scouts, but I don't think you have it for Cubs.
Oh.
Yeah, it's a scout badge.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know if how we could tie it in. We could, of course. You can do anything.
And I guess that's the general sense I want to get. That we can, where we see fit and can provide for, add to the badge component, and there's a process for that. So they can submit and they say, okay, that look good, fine. Make it something available. Okay, good.
Can you also, this is a question, because I know you've got, these are all unified, meaning they've all been done. Could you have buttons for different projects? Like if they do a project where they raise funds, you could get a button that they could wear, or do you not put it on? Like it's a little button that says, I raised funds for rhinos in the wild, or I,
Okay,
That's a good idea, because it's publicity, it encourages kids to want to collect them.
Alright.
that we can also give to other scouts, saying,
let me think about how we could. Let me think about it.
alright. Because what I would like
So
to
let me
do,
just
I
write.
get
Let me
what
just
you're
write
saying.
it
It's
down.
not a high level thing, it's just like if you have a particular program.
yeah, like if I do, say if
that
I
they
write,
participated. Let's say clean up Hope Zoo or something like that, where you say, I helped to do this positive activity and I got a button for it to show that.
like every year we go to, down to the beach and we do
Beach cleanup?
Beach cleanup. So it would be nice to have a little, like a water badge or something, or like you could have a little ocean picture.
I think we have something of that in place already. Because we do beach cleanup. It's part of our mandate.
Okay, good.
For scouts. Cubs do. Okay, so there are two. There's one that is the national beach cleanup that the Cubs and Scouts get involved in, but there's one that is a Scout beach cleanup.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Scout project,
Okay.
which you should incorporate in your Scout program.
Alright, good.
And is there room to add, similar to again?
I would imagine so.
Yeah, because that's even less
Yeah.
stringent thing.
Yeah, I
All
would
right.
imagine so.
All right. I guess that's
discuss
it.
buttons for different projects.
Yeah, like there's the World Wildlife National Fund.
My son did that.
Yeah, where you save money for. You can choose a rhino. You can choose the animals that are in the wild that are being destroyed, like they're almost going to endangerment, endangered or extinct. So you do a project where maybe you do, I don't know, selling not cookies, but you do some kind of project where you go around, the kids go around and they do collecting money for this project.
Yes.
And then they would then send the money off to the place, and you get a certificate back saying, I donated that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be, I'm sure.
So we're now the burning questions section before the end. That's
Okay.
it. Then we end. So I guess one burning question I have is, and STEM related, I'm working on part of the fundraising push I'm hoping to do, is to have the scouts participate in activities for which they get paid. They get something, and the program gets something, and the whole gets something.
Yes.
And this will center on some training they'll have to receive installing, say, solar equipment and that type of thing. Now, what would also be nice, I talked to Wignall Windfarm, and they have some really nice kits, sort of like the old science kits, like 101 experiments in one type of thing, that they developed that are really nice for green energy.
Green energy.
But they're all the way in wherever they are, right? They're not in town. And it would be nice, if it's on whole property, that could be something we could sponsor in keeping with the overall scout thing. I don't know, what are your thoughts on that?
What do they put out? What is it?
Well,
Solar?
The idea would be to have
alternative energy
area training section here where people can either come and see it, established.
Practice.
Think of it a little bit like a museum at the zoo.
Okay.
Right? But focusing on technologies that Jamaica can benefit from.
Well, if we do any kind of, just so you know, we have a board.
Yes.
So whatever we want to build or do something here at the zoo, we have to go to the board.
Yes.
So that's why I say even I would love a place and a storage room and all that, but it has to go to the board.
Right.
We're not going to just build something. It has to be approved by our board of directors.
Yes.
So keeping with that, the same thing for the museum. If it's now, we are starting, which just might be interest to you, we are starting a program here. It's a agricultural hydroponics.
Hydroponics.
We want to feed our animals without paying a cent to all the suppliers we pay. We pay fortunes in feeding the lions. These lions eat steak.
Yes, a lot of it.
They eat liver and they eat, all the different parts of the animals, but we buy chickens, whole chickens, raw chickens. So what we want to do is put at the back of the property, put up a garden. A sustainable garden that we can put all our vegetables. And then we want to have chickens and eggs. So this is something the scouts can be involved in. They can every Saturday go and clean the garden and weed it, water it,
and it's funny you should say that, because that's exactly what I started doing in Mona. And the plan, prior to Hope Gardens coming into the picture, was have Mona as an entire community served by the Scout Troop of Mona Centre, doing exactly that, setting up, utilising all of the wasted fruits that are falling off of people's trees. That could be with a distribution system put in place. Right?
With that in mind, the area that we are doing this in, you could put up a solar panel for, say, any kind of electrical equipment. You could put up a windmill for and you could somehow do something water. Maybe.
And that'd be great if it's something that the zoo benefits from, that the scouts maintain. Right?
Yes.
Win-win. We need, we were going to go to 4-H for this, because 4-H has a garden. And they sell off their produce every couple of months or something. I'm not sure what they do. But we were like, well, we want to build a garden, but we don't have the people to man it. Meaning, you've seen this property. There's no more, we can't have any more of our landscapers go and do other things. And they're like, the garden now? So we needed kids to be involved in it. So like these Hope Boys, the Hope Boy program, they will be involved in it. They will be helping us dig and put in plans. So we're doing it hydroponically, which is a lot different. Hydroponics does require a bit of, we could put in solar power, solar panels. The hydroponic side of it is going to be different. We want to do hydroponics because we have the equipment already. We got it. But now we can also put a garden right next to it and a chicken farm type thing for eggs for our animals. And chickens. We need chickens too. We feed the snakes chickens. So we can.
I know it.
Yeah. So we need all of that. We need all of that resource. So this can be part of the program.
All right.
Nice.
So and maybe where we build it, we can also think about building the scout area, scout storage. That might be the perfect area. It's in the back of the zoo.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
All right, so I guess we have our homework. So we're gonna, on our end, come up with a list of what we can offer.
Right.
And
one thing we didn't talk about. What
Yes.
are the kids? What are we charging them for what is the normal?
Alright, so right now for registration, it's 500 per call or scout.
and leaders too, I think, right?
Yeah, the leaders have
That's
to,
for a year?
yeah,
And that's the, because the
500.
insurance, yeah, I should have.
because they have to, they have to be
That's
insured.
insurance?
Yeah. And you know what I wanted to
Registration and
get, is it
insurance.
possible to get the documents, the insurance policy documents to see just exactly what is covered? Because I don't want any surprises.
Okay.
You know, I want to read through A to Z
I
what
must
they
ask them
cover.
when I get down
And
there.
there's
today,
the
I'm gonna-
dues,
Huh?
weekly dues, monthly dues.
Weekly dues, you decide what their weekly, the pack decides what their weekly dues are.
So in that point, from our standpoint, we are having them come here to the zoo. So we do also need to put in something where we're paying for
Yes.
our space,
Yes.
water, I mean, not that the kids are gonna use much, but remember that every kid that comes from the zoo pays. I mean,
Yes.
we're a charity,
Yes.
so
Yes.
we need the money. The money that we get from the entrance goes towards feeding our animals.
Right.
Now, part of this is, part of the scouting dues will be for, the space that we use,
Yes.
but also the staffing that we use.
Yes.
Because remember, a lot of the people that I'm going to be having are not coming in voluntarily.
Right.
They're working for the zoo to do this. Because
Okay.
it's part of the education. So we do need to.
And just to address that is why I'm focusing on this business side of it. We haven't talked about it yet.
Right.
But I'm looking to have the scouts earn
No,
their
yes,
stay here.
yeah, they need to
And earn
earn.
on top of that for themselves
Yeah.
and for the organization as a whole.
Yeah.
It can be done. It can be done. I've already started,
We're
serious inroads into that process.
Thinking of increasing the fee to $100 a year.
Okay.
Right. So for the group, not for the child,
Yeah.
for the group.
The child pays $500 a
So
year.
the child pays 500, and then the group, no,
Like 500 viewers?
Jamaican, 500 Jamaican. But the group pays 100 US for the year.
Sarah, can I bring you 2 seconds? Sure. All right,
Yeah.
so are we?
I think we're good.
We're done.
We're good.
Bye, everyone.
Yes, thanks.
Bye.
All right.
Yeah.
And we'll do the tour. I guess you're busy, right? So
No, I'm going
You-
to
you
just
can
go
do that?
and I'm coming straight back.
Okay.
I just didn't want to walk out of the, in case we didn't finish.
sure,
Right,
sure,
right,
sure.
right.
But
Yeah.
I think we're good. Anything
Yeah.
else to come up with, I'll add on later.
Yeah.
So any questions on your end? You could think of?
No, I'm just giving my support and my contribution in terms of guidance and just encouragement. Basically that's. In terms of the separation, we're going to have. Are you thinking of having? Because we said 2:30 to 4, so we're having 2:30 to 4. Because therefore you need resources, adult resources, because the Cub Scout meeting is going to be going on along the Scout meeting.
Okay.
Isn't that how you're planning to do it?
It could, whatever's most efficient. Because I have to see the space, and that's why the tour is important. I want to see the physical.
Right.
What do they have to offer? Where is it? Because they also are the variables. Is it hot?
Right.
Can it rain on it?
Yeah,
so on and so
right,
forth.
that
Is there
kind of
enough
thing.
tables? Will they have areas to write and do things? Will we have electricity available? Because some of the stuff I do, little magic shit. I may need power. I have this thing where I have like a invisible hovering thing that floats in midair. But I got plugged in.
Okay.
And so on.
Yeah.
So those would be considerations as to whether I have to bring power. So on and so forth. So until I see the facilities, it's still up in the air.
But it would be good to have the two, so that you have concentrated energies. So if you have one group doing scouting and one group doing cubbing, at the same time. It's, you know, it's one planning basically instead of having two separate.